Hey, Drew. Hello. How's it going?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Happy Easter. Happy Resurrection Day. Happy to be here. What is it? April 17th,
Yeah,
2022?
it's been a little while
So,
since we done a video. We've been slacking a
yeah.
little. I think we've been partially distracted in our two lives, and I'm glad we're now getting back to making some pottery. So this has been a book we've been wanting to talk about for a bit, Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy. And
Yeah.
you've been telling me we keep on talking every weekend, but you've been telling me that this is one of those good ones that you got some good notes on, and actually you think it's going to be worth two video sessions for us to cover. So
Yeah, I think so. I stumbled across this book just for everybody to see, Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy. And this book was actually written, I think, in the early 90s, 1993. Hey, you graduated from West Point.
I know
I was there.
a couple years ago.
It was a while ago.
Yep.
So no, this book I stumbled upon it, and from the outset, you get a couple sentences, a couple paragraphs into a certain book, and you know your life is about to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many books that have had great titles that I'm halfway through the book, and I'm still thinking, what's the point? And this one, I was halfway through the first paragraph, and I knew that I wasn't giving this book back to the person who gave it to me.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool.
I took tons of notes, and I think that this is worthy of multiple sessions, because this is what we're talking about, is how to bring the most out of our life. We have such a short span of time to exist on this planet, and while you want to enjoy your life, we also want to maximize it.
Yep.
I don't want to get to the end and look back like when I was in high school, the few years that I was in high school, and recognize that I did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like that with my life and look back and go, man, that was multiple decades. I could have made a difference. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. That's what I want to kind of draw out of you. And if you don't mind, I'm going to start with my first bullet point out of Maximum Achievement. Brian Tracy says, you can't hit a target you can't see. You can't accomplish wonderful things with your life if you have no idea what they are. And that's the first thing that sat me down. Like, wow, how specific am I with what I want to accomplish inside of me? What do I want to accomplish in other people? And here sitting in prison for, I just passed 22 years the other day. I should be really focused on what do I want to accomplish with my time when I get out.
Yep.
So what does it mean to you? When I said that to you, how does that impact you?
Yeah. So I thought of a couple things. I thought, I think of Zig Ziglar. Here, let me adjust my camera just a little. Being a meaningful, specific, or a wandering generality. I listened to a couple words that you said right there where you said, what do I want to do when I get out of prison? But I think that, one of his stories that he talked about was recognizing that there are diamonds everywhere, right? And then there are
Right.
rocks on the field, and you don't have to go to other
Yeah.
places necessarily to find the diamonds, right? And so
Yeah.
so while you were talking, a thing that popped in my head was, hey, this little video television JPay thing is a diamond that we're polishing right now, because
Yeah.
it's an opportunity that we're taking advantage of, because we're forging ourselves, our speaking skills, our share, the ability to share ideas. We're collaborating, and we're sacrificing some of our time on these weekends instead of doing, stupid stuff. We're actually trying to invest in each other, because we're building that future. And
Yeah.
because I think we're gonna have a future together, talking about some of these pieces of pottery that we're making on a regular basis,
Yeah.
here with these videos. So that's what I thought of. And I went through. He also had like 7 questions, and he said, hey, sometimes if you blast on something and answer it in 30 seconds, that'll be just as good as if you spent 30 minutes on it. And one of those, yeah,
yeah.
just just capture what's in your head.
Yeah.
Uh, and he had some really pointed questions about, what is your main definite purpose? And,
Yeah.
then I'm like, okay, what makes you happy? If you inherited $1 million, tax free tomorrow, what would you immediately do? That helps tease out what is really meaningful in your life, right? And then
Yeah.
if that's true, and you're just too scared to go for it, well, hey, you need to recognize that. You need to know yourself, and then start creating that path and start going after it. So what we're doing here is part of that, my ultimate desired future. So
Well, you hit on something that I thought was really key. I read this book years ago called Acres of Diamonds.
yeah,
And the moral of the story was this man went out searching for his treasure in life. And it turned out that he was living on top of it the whole time. That was
yep,
the moral of the story.
yep,
And I think you hit the nail on the head. I think first you have to define what is meaningful.
yeah,
Like, is it my relationships, raising my children? Is it my career? None of these are wrong answers.
yeah,
But you have to ask yourself these questions. So it's not necessarily so much about coming up with the right answer. It's about asking yourself the right question. What is purpose in my life? What equates purposefulness? What is meaningful? And then the key thing is this: go after it now. And
yep,
I had that moment in my life when it seemed like my life was completely over. I was looking at life without the possibility of parole. I was looking at spending the rest of my natural life in prison, and I had a decision to make. Do I want to allow my circumstances to give me the excuse not to achieve anything anymore? Or do I want to dig deep inside of myself, realize who I really wanted to be, and be that in spite of my circumstances?
yeah,
And it was gonna be difficult. And matter of fact, it was gonna be more difficult now than if I just tried to be that initially, when I was growing up in our family. But it was worth it. So that's the key thing. You do got to know what you're aiming at, and then you have to realize that now is the time to go after it. I
yeah,
think so often we're always trying to, it's like the version of ourselves that we want to be. It's like the 401k. It's like, oh, I'll cash that in later.
yeah,
That's something you have to cash in now.
yep,
You
yep.
have to do that now.
Well, yeah, and then, okay, yeah, and then he had those 7 ingredients, right, that you need to start considering or factoring into what your future is going to be,
Yeah.
And one of them that are right off the bat, he says you need to achieve that peace of mind, and you achieve that peace of
Yeah.
mind by
That was my
establishing that goal, and then by investing in it on a regular basis, because then you're at ease that you're making progress, and not get distracted with crazy drama or whatever, but having that peace of mind, coming back to your touchstone, maintaining your azimuth on where you want to go in life, and your compass. And
Yeah.
I thought that was really good, because I can get carried away with family, managing work, and then just too much busyness, and I don't have a peace of mind to step back and truly have good priorities, and be deliberate, with where I want to go. So that was my big thing, is peace of mind. And I still stink at it. I need to
Yeah.
do more regular meditation practice, because I think that would really help me out. I mean, it's scientifically proven to be beneficial, but that's one of those habits that I'm still a little sporadic in. How do you get after peace of mind?
Well, listen, man, you're hitting on like one of the most key themes in this book for me, which was peace of mind. And you and I read that book about why we sleep and how important rest is, how important sleep is.
Yep.
For your ability to fight cancer, to have a fully functioning immune system, to look better, to feel better. And the key to really being able to sleep is having peace in your heart and your mind.
Yep.
And man, that's complicated. Oh, well, we make it complicated. Excuse me. It doesn't have to be complicated. So let me read a few quotes really quick, not just to you, but for the people that are listening. And you kind of halfway quoted this, and I was searching my notebook trying to find this quote. Peace of mind is central to your very existence. It is the basic precondition for enjoying everything else. And I have been through seasons of my life where I was in a good place, but I wasn't fully enjoying it because I had unresolved things in my heart, unresolved things in my mind, forgiveness that I had not given or not sought. And it was disrupting my ability to fully be in the moment in my life. And I'm talking about in prison. I was missing moments and opportunities to have happiness and joy in this prison experience, let alone for you and all these people are out there surrounded by your wife and kids and family.
Yeah.
How much worse to be missing those moments. I'm talking about not really embracing the sunshine or a good workout or that I ran a mile in under 7 minutes, So he says this, hold on. When you are living in harmony with your highest values and your innermost convictions, when you are perfectly balanced, then you enjoy peace of mind. And I was just like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember I was coming through a work hub one day and I was just struggling with some things in my life, some relationships and communication or the lack thereof, really trying to figure out, God, where should my heart be? And this thought came to me. I am living incongruent. And I didn't even really understand it at the time. I thought, what is that word? But it was exactly that.
Yeah.
I wasn't living in harmony with my beliefs and values.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't think that's just me in prison. I think that's a lot of us.
Yeah.
And it took me systematically going through my life, it's like dominoes that fall down, and you got to go through and re-stand up each little domino.
Yep.
To get that balance. Okay, so I'll kick it back to you. So that's peace of mind.
Yeah, I liked
It's what I'm aiming at.
Yeah, a couple of things that you hit on there was coherence and alignment. To me that gets into the whole integrity piece, right? And integrity and character. Character is actually living in coherence, living in integrity with your values and beliefs and actions. And that it brings me back to some of the things like that we've talked about before of Tony Robbins saying, hey, what to think, what things mean, and then what are you going to do about it? And that one of his key laws was the law of substitution. And he said that, hey, your conscious can only hold one idea at a time. So if you can develop the ability and skill to recognize what you're thinking about and actually assess it. And if it's negative energy, if you're thinking about being a victim or, somebody, did something against you, then that's what your brain is going to think about. And it's going to clog all of your emotions and follow on thoughts and actions, right? Then you're going to do, I'm going to get that person back, revenge. There's we don't have room for that. Yeah, and it's away from love, and it's away from forgiveness, and so the key is okay. Hey, I need to be objective about this, and let's do the law of substitution. Let me put positive thoughts in my head, and let's build a better future with others. Let's enable love and and the ability to enjoy life, right? So I think I reframed the big trinity that we've been talking about, before, that goes around the little SHEARS pyramid.
Yeah, love, joy, fulfillment.
Yeah, I think I like it to be three verbs now. I would like it to be love and joy, right? It's an act of enjoying life, enjoy, and then the top one should be flourish, and it's yourself flourish. So it's yourself.
Oh, flourish. Okay.
Yeah, it's yourself flourishing. Reaching your potential, but it's also you can flourishing. You actually get fulfillment out of letting others flourish, right? Whether it's your your relationships or your kids or your friends or your colleagues. So I think that I think I learned something out of this book was making those like action verbs, and that I think that's pretty powerful. And I think enjoy is better than just joy, right? Because there's the whole debate between happiness and joy, but so those are there was a big reframing that I had.
Well, joy is like one of the root words in enjoy.
Yeah. It's the act of,
So
you know.
it's the act of experiencing joy in any given moment. You know, he says right here, he says, to be truly happy, you need a clear sense of direction. I mean, that would seem like such an obvious statement. But for me, the most powerful truths are the most simple ones.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be an abstract algebra problem. And I think sometimes we take happiness, we take our relationships, we take our purpose in life, and we create an algebra problem out of it. And we're constantly trying to separate and divide and isolate the variable.
Yeah.
You know, and I think if we just, it's arithmetic. Did I say that right? It's simple math.
Yeah.
Addition and subtraction.
It's not calculus.
Yeah, it's not calculus. Thank you. Yeah, it's the opposite of calculus. So he says, to be truly happy, you need a clear sense of direction. You need a commitment to something bigger and more important than yourself, which kind of taps into this. It's not about me.
Yeah.
And I got to get up every day and pursue the best and be my best, not so I could be like, hey, look, I'm the best. Yeah, hey, look, I'm the best. But so that I'm giving sorry, there's a little noise going on around here.
Yeah,
but,
no problem.
But so that I can be my best for everybody else around me.
Yep.
And then what ends up happening is you draw the best out of them.
Yeah.
And now it's an exchange process. I'm giving you love and service and support, and you're giving me the same thing. And it's that energy kind of coming back and forth. Okay. It's kind of getting complicated around here. So,
hey, well.
Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So I need to find. There's another Trinity out there that is truth, beauty, and love, right? And so
I like that.
Yeah, and so we and those are like the facets of life, the human existence. We're always in pursuit of truth. When you do acquire truth, it just helps you in life and whatnot. I need to dig into this and find the source. But when you're talking about trying to be your best or make yourself better, and it's not just about you, it's about others. I mean, that's about being, beautiful, creating something that's like, in pursuit of excellence. It's like, one notch better, so it can be in yourself. It can be things that you create, their beauty is amazing. And then when you're collaborating with others and helping them be their best selves, that's part of that. That's part of love, is enabling others. And so I think that's really powerful. And,
let me throw something in, because we're talking about being your best. He says to perform at your best, you need to know who you are and why you think and feel the way you do. You need to know and understand the forces and influences that have shaped your character from earliest childhood. And I think that's also a small element, because a lot of times we're operating on preconditioned situations in our life.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to dig down in the earth. It's in here in the great Northwest. We're kind of turning in the spring, and we live in a prison where we have gardens outside of the unit, and you have these guys who go out there. But the first part of having a good garden is digging down in the earth and getting out the things that don't need to be there from a harsh winter. And you think about the harsh winters that we've had in our own life and my own soul.
Yep.
And sometimes we end up just trying to plant good plants, good seed on really hard ground.
Yep.
And that's why I think, really part of being your best is recognizing what kind of baggage have I brought to this point? What do I need to offload before I just start unloading? And that's where we end up being I have kind of like a bipolar, because I'm dealing with good soil and I got bad soil. Good soil and I got bad soil. And I need to till all the ground, get all the rocks out, and then just start fresh.
Yep.
That makes sense?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's old. It might be rocks, but it might be old roots, right, from last
It
season.
might be old roots. That's even better.
Yeah, and you got to dig that out of there so the new ones can blossom and get some new roots in there to bear that fruit. And no, I think that's really good. In my experience in Honeywell, they have good assessment tools that from your employees and whatnot, and it's helping me see my blind spots and how I can be a better manager. And the key is you got to have an open heart and willingness to accept that feedback and then adapt to what your future should be. But you got to know yourself. You got to know your limitations, and you can address those and mitigate them so you can meet your potential. One thing that I like, and I think that both of us probably have this propensity. We're both positive thinkers, right? So, but there's a difference between being a positive thinker and then positive thinking and positive knowing. And I think that is something, that's a tool that he introduced that I think I could really benefit from. And I could set some smaller goals that I just knock out, and then that'll start building that snowball momentum to really knowing that I can do whatever I want. I mean, we've talked about setting up this dynamic ascent business and all that stuff. It's still an idea that's out there. Hey, if that's my true future, okay.
Goals introduced, but systems produced.
Yeah, I need to back that up to into a series of dominoes, right? Because I want to knock over that big domino of having a company that's actually pulling in some income, and okay, well, first you have to create the darn thing as an LLC. Then you got to have a website. Then you got to let's write that book. What are all those dominoes that we got to start knocking down, and you just got to do it one step at a time. So
to because of our time, I'm going to throw out two things. And this is why I really felt that this book warrants more than just one video. But the more clear you are about the person you want to become, the more likely it is that day by day you will evolve into that person. And so it's not just about seeing and accepting who I am today. It's about looking at myself and seeing who I'm aiming to become. William James has a great quote here. He says, "If I see myself today as I was in the past, my past must resurrect itself and become my future." So what is that garter belt? It's the person that I'm aiming to be. So when life hits me, I don't react with who I am now just in this moment or who I've been in the past. I try to respond as the person I'm aiming to become. And when I do that, I'm drawing that identity, that person I want to be, into my present. That's how we evolve. Once again, really quick, and I'm going to let you close. Maximum achievement, this is what we're talking about. And I hope to get some comments from you people. And if you can't get the book or listen to it on audio, I think it's a game changer. And I've only barely touched the surface of my notes. So I'm excited for next week already.
Yep.
Go ahead, I'll let you in. We got 50 seconds.
Yeah, so fantastic book. It's pretty ironic that it was created in 1993, a time where we crossed paths back in New York at a West Point graduation.
Yeah.
Significant milestone. But Brian Tracy wrote this book after 20 years of serving, and it was the culmination of his 25 years of educating. And he actually has like 4 or 5 other pretty significant books that are out there, like Goals and whatnot. So we might need to tap into some of his other great works, but definitely a foundational book for putting your arms around living a better life and trying to be all you can be. Hey, great to see you, Drew.